can you die from not getting enough sleep, from lack of sleep? And are you going to hallucinate? Because I'm going to talk about that in here. Now, I know this is kind of a deep, dark topic that you may not want to hear, but I want to encourage you to stick around because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. There is zero evidence of anyone ever dying directly from lack of sleep. Now, yes, there have been some fatalities from driving, car accidents, driving without sleep, injuries at work, things like that, but not directly from lack of sleep. That is really good news because I know people get worried about that. I've seen it in the Facebook groups, people saying, oh, I've had multiple days of no sleep. Am I going to die? Am I going to hallucinate? Like, what's going to happen to me? And there's a lot of fear around it, which is not helping someone get more sleep, to be able to overcome insomnia when they have all this fear and putting a lot of pressure on themselves. Now, there is one rare inherited disorder called fatal familial insomnia, which you might have heard of. Yes, people have died from that, but it's an extremely rare disorder and it's hereditary. Now, I don't remember like one in how many people get it. I will post it on the screen. I'll look it up and make sure I add it. But basically, it's a neurodegenerative disease and they can't really get proper sleep. And there's changes in their brains and the brain patterns. I don't know all the details about fatal familial insomnia except from doing my own reading and research. But it's very rare, it's inherited, and they don't think it's the lack of sleep that is causing them to die from this disease, from this disorder. They think it's from the neurodegenerative part, something to do with that is causing them to eventually pass away, and it's not the lack of sleep. There was an experiment done on a teenage boy named Randy. He wanted to do a science experiment for his school. He wanted to win, so he was trying to think of something big, and he wanted to break the world record of how many days being awake. And he did eventually beat that record. He stayed awake for 11 days with no sleep. First, it started off with just him and a friend, but they realized they needed some extra help, and eventually a guy from Stanford, I think it was Stanford, he was very interested in this experiment and he wanted to help them do this experiment and do it properly. So he became involved and Randy stayed up for 11 days, broke the record. During this time, and Randy is fine now, by the way. During this time, he did experience some hallucinations. I know people worry about hallucinations, but what's really interesting is they think the brain, that he's not hallucinating, but his brain is shutting down. When you're not getting enough sleep, your brain, like parts of it will shut down to get like mini little cat naps to be able to continue to function as normal. So he's basically dreaming while awake. It'll shut and he's dreaming a little bit and he thinks it's like in real life. Well, you know what I mean? Like, it's just him dreaming. He's seeing his dreams and it's not really a hallucination. So I thought that was really interesting. And one thing to know is that your body, your brain will eventually make you sleep. You can't just not get any type of little sleep. What happens is we get this light sleep when we have chronic insomnia and we go many days and we don't realize that we are getting little like mini cat naps. We think we're awake the entire night, but in reality, you are getting these little mini cat naps to keep you going. There have been experiments on people with insomnia and how well they are able to determine how much sleep they got, like estimate how much they're sleeping. And people who don't get enough sleep, they way underestimate how much sleep they're getting. And then they've done it on people who sleep well, and they way overestimate how much sleep they're getting. It's pretty interesting, but your brain, you don't realize it. When you are awake, all night, you will kind of zone in and out and not realize it. You may be just laying there resting and you think you're awake, but there are moments when you're getting some sleep. So I think that's really helpful to understand. Yeah, and other than that, I know there is a concern about health. People think they're going to get all these serious diseases and all these serious conditions can happen from lack of sleep. But I also have some good news about that and a strategy that you can implement to help yourself be the healthiest as possible when you have insomnia. So if you do want to watch that video, I highly recommend it. I will post it on the screen here, and I will see you in the next video.